Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list I don't want to say it's illegal, but this is my top 10 fake notes. All right, it's okay to have fake notes, it's okay to have replica notes. It's not okay to try to spend them. It's not okay to try to convince people that these are the real thing. There are huge rules and laws against counterfeiting and anti-counterfeiting measures on all of our stuff. But that doesn't change the fact that I still happen to have 10 notes that are quote unquote fake. All right, we're going to get started in this top 10 list. It's going to start a little weak, but it gets better. Believe me. All right, number 10 on the list this week. This is a $1 trillion bill. This is clearly fake. I just find it interesting that this particular note here, it's got a whole thing, the $1 trillion question. Okay, so this here is a advertisement from some religious organization, basically saying something to the effect of, if you have all kinds of money, you probably won't get into heaven or something. I don't care. I was more fascinated by the fact that it's got Lincoln on there, and the color is just about the exact same color as a $100 bill. So when you see this note compared to a regular $5 bill, you can see one's green, one's blue. Normally people tend to associate the blue with the 100. So that's that particular one. It feels just like paper. They're not trying to get away with anything. Let's look at that seal on there if we can. Yeah, so there's the seal that's on there. So yeah, they're not trying to get away with anything as far as saying that this is real note. They're just using a dollar fashioned note as their advertisement. And there's that if you want to pause it and read all the neat stuff that's on here. Anyway, that's number 10 on the list. The advertising note to resemble a dollar. All right, number 9. I found this one pretty fascinating. This is a $5 note, and if you look at the top, it says motion, and then here it says picture use only, and then if you look here, it says for motion picture use only. At a glance, looks like a regular $5 bill. It's actually done really well. They do put copy on here. Obviously, if you feel this note, it feels like a piece of paper. There is no raised ink or anything like that. Looking at the back, pretty impressive. The United States of America is copy we trust, is what it says. So they do have copy on the front and on the back. Here it says copy, $5. Very familiar. Here it also says play money only on the bottom. How close is this to the real thing? Here's the real thing. If I set these down, I should flip them over because you guys all know what a real 5 looks like. There we go. It's the right size. The picture looks just a touch bigger, like they zoomed out just a hair. And as far as the rest of it, at a glance, yeah, that passes. This is the dead giveaway where it says copy there, but all the rest of the words, if you don't read the words, you can see that there are words here, just like you'd expect to find. Let's flip it over on the back. Seeing the back, that's pretty impressive. I mean, they're pretty close. Seeing them side by side like that. Once again, the words themselves are different. The biggest thing here is it says copy. But yeah, if you ever wanted to see movie money compared to regular money, there you go. So that is number 9. And I'm going to try not to mix these up because if I accidentally take one of my movie money notes to the bank, I will go to jail. All right. Number 8. Here is a $20 note. Let's see, what do we got here? This one is a replica of one of the Monochrome notes. You can see here, Federal Reserve note, United States of America, 20. And I'm looking all over here. Secretary Jonathan Doe. Treasury. Can't quite make it out. Susie Q. Or Susie, is that Susie? I don't know. Series of 2015. there it says it here. This note is not legal tender for any debts, public or private. Let's take a peek at the seal, if it'll zoom in, if it'll focus. Department. Here. Come on, focus. It's what you do. I messed with the focus, and now we're going to be going through this a lot. All right. Department of the Treasury, 1789. And maybe you can read that, maybe you can't. Anyway, that's the $20 small head. And of course, now that I messed with the focus, I'm going to have to mess with it the entire time. Taking a look at the back, you can see that it's an extreme close-up of the White House. So no, not quite as good as the original. And what does the original look like? Well, we'll put the original there. We'll put the main one here. The biggest difference right away is that you've got this blue seal versus a green seal. Come on, let's see if it's going to focus right now. Yeah, I shouldn't have messed with the focus. Blue seal versus green seal. You can see it says 20 here. It does not say 20 here. At a glance, it does the trick. This is training money. This is money that's used to help train bankers to use cash registers. It's also used in casinos to train dealers on the proper procedure for taking money. If you see it from the back, clearly a counterfeit. From the front, not necessarily as much, especially if you're holding it like this, since people don't see the monochrome notes as often. So that one is number 8, 1098. Number 7. They've upgraded. Here is another $20 bill. This particular one, let's see, is it gonna, it's not gonna, there we go, we'll get it focused here. This particular $20 bill looks much more like the stuff we have. This one is another motion picture use only note. You can see it says that right across the top, for motion picture use only. It is also stamped copy. Let's see, can I focus in on the name? What's the name say? Secretary of the Treasury, Harry M. I don't know, or Henry M. I don't know who that is. And let's look at this side. Oh, those are actually the actual signatures. And of course, it says this note is not legal tender for motion picture use only. They do use the reserve stamp, United States Federal Reserve. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, come on. I got to keep playing with the focus now. Looking at the back, at a glance, that's pretty good. It clearly does say copy here. It says "In God We Trust" on the back, but it does say play money only right here. And how close is this? Well, let's take a peek side by side. The bottom one obviously is real. The biggest giveaway is the copy right here. We'll put that one here, put this one here. See if we can't get everything to focus again. There we go. So yeah, looking at it, the head, once again, does look a little bit bigger, just slightly bigger. But the rest of it is actually pretty good. And when you see them in person, the color is actually really close. The camera here is showing that it looks not quite as good. But in reality, it's right about there. It's really close. And let's show the back. There's this one and this one. And looking at them, instantly the number one difference is copy. A lot of people don't realize that this particular color ink, to get that color ink, I want to say it's patented. It's very difficult to get that exact color, which is why a lot of copies are going to have the wrong color. Granted, with a color copier, you can do all kinds of neat stuff, but there are anti-counterfeiting measures to prevent that from happening. Still, there's the back of the 20. This one here is the fake. We will put that one over there, and we will put the real one over here. I should scoop these up just a touch. There we go. All right. 10987. Number 6. Let's get a little bigger. $100 note. $100 Federal Reserve note. This one here is a monochrome note. And you can see it says Federal Reserve across the top, United States of America. Once again, like the 20, this note is not legal tender. That's the only place it says that. Looking at it, once again, it doesn't have the feel. It just feels like a regular piece of paper. And looking at the back, they went with the, they also have the White House on here, which, just like the 20 that from the motion picture area, the only thing that they did different is the denomination. Okay, so they use the exact same back there. So you're probably not going to fool anybody with this. what did we have on this one? Yeah, there's that version there. So they use the other side of the White House on the 20 compared to the 100. The $100 note compared to a small head $100 note. We'll put those two up there and we'll focus again. There we go. You can see the size is right. Benjamin Franklin is facing the wrong direction. Did you catch that? Probably not. I didn't. This one also has a blue seal compared to the green seal on it, so you can see that as a difference. And when we turn it over, there is the back of this one compared to the back of this one. No White House, you have Independence Hall. So that is the monochrome $100 note. We will put that over there, 109,876. Number 5 on the list. Number 5, this is a motion picture industry $100 note. You can see here it says motion picture US only, or for motion picture US only, $100 Federal Reserve note. So it does say that here. It says copy, so it does blend in real well. Looking at the back of the note, that's pretty good. The back is pretty good. The back is just about exact, but they did put copy on here. This would fool a lot of people, except for the texture, except for the feel. It doesn't feel like a regular bill. This just feels like a piece of paper. But they do have copy on it here, and they do have copy on it here. How close is it? Well, there's the fake, there's the real one. And let's get it focused. You can see they're pretty close. This, again, is about, looks about 10% bigger, the face. But everything else on the note looks about right. I mean, yes, you have the hologram here. You don't have that here. But the rest of the note is pretty close. That's the whole point of these notes, is to look good on camera. And even the color is really, really close. The greens, once again, are completely different, but the rest of it is right about there. It's pretty impressive for a movie note. So that one's number 5. Number 4. I have a second version of the same note. This particular one, you can see for motion picture use only over here. This one is copy on this side. Happens to be a star note, which is kind of neat. A copy of a star note. And flipping this one over, is copy we trust, and it says copy here. So this one goes out a little more to explain that it is not a real note. Even comparing it to the other fake, you can see the two of them here. Pretty close. This one is actually a slightly darker blue note. But overall, this one even shows a little bit of the bell. Where the top one, it does, but it's very, very, very faint. Let's see. Compared to the real note, once again, at a glance, you're probably not going to notice. That's the whole point of these. At a glance, you're not supposed to notice the difference. And, of course, I have to be very careful not to confuse the two, because I would hate to try to deposit a fake note. My bank would be really surprised if I tried to do something like that, because if anybody knows better, it should be me. All right. So that one is number 4, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Number 3. Now, the next 3 aren't replicas per se. This one I heard the story about, and I'm not 100% on it, but I wanted to include it. This is my $3 Tiverton Bank $3 note. And I was under the impression, well, this is obsolete currency, by the way, 1850s. The Bank of Tiverton actually went out of business. And I was told the story that the people that were in charge of printing the notes decided that they were going to spend them anyway, knowing that the bank was out of business. So I don't know if these notes were ever valid, but they were circulated. You can see that this was circulated. And this was part of the problem with obsolete currency, which was that you just didn't know. If you weren't familiar with a bank, you had no idea if the currency was still legit or not. So the story goes that most of the stuff you're going to see from Tiverton Bank is most likely Counterfeit's the bad way to put it. It was just never valid. So that one is number 3 on the list, $3 Tiverton Bank. Number 2. This, I don't know if it's counterfeit or not, but let me tell you the story. This is a $5 baby bond from the state of Louisiana. And the state of Louisiana, basically, you would get the $5 bond and you would cut out the different sections for interest, and you could redeem them for the interest on the $5 bond. This was real. This is a real bond, at least as real as you can make it, because you can see here the person who signed it, this Burke, or is it Bunker? Maybe it's Bunker. I think it's Bunker, Bunker. Bunker was the one who came up with the idea for this note. The problem is that he was supposed to print 100,000 of these. And what he did was he printed 200,000. He printed an extra 100,000, which means there were twice as many of these in circulation as were supposed to be. And since he printed 100,000 more than what was supposed to be there, it basically destroyed these once it came out that he printed a bunch of extra to spend on his own. There was absolutely no difference between the ones that were printed for real and the second batch that he printed for himself, so there's no way to tell if this is genuine or counterfeit. It's genuine. Technically, they're all genuine. The problem is only half of them were supposed to be there. So that's the story on the baby bonds, the $5 baby bond from Louisiana. Is it counterfeit? Is it not counterfeit? Hard to say. You got a 50-50 shot of it being one of the proper ones. And like I said, there is no distinction. That is number 2. And number 1. Number 1, this is my contemporary counterfeit from 1862. This note has seen some stuff. It's an actual counterfeit from 1862 of the 1862 $1 bill. If you were to compare this one side by side with the actual note, everything is just, it stands out. It's so glaring. If you look at the inking process, you can see that there is detail, but not nearly the detail as there is on the original notes. When you go into this section here, once again, it just kind of gets muddy. All of the very thin stuff gets very, very muddy. Now, there's a lot of damage to this note, and that was intentional. Once it was discovered that it was counterfeit, the note was cut. There were punches, hole punches put in the note to get people's attention. It looks like it was stamped counterfeit here. It was most certainly stamped counterfeit here. Look at the back. The back is kind of a giveaway as well. You see all these swirl patterns and stuff. I don't know if my camera is going to focus right because they are not as separate as they should be. They're kind of mushed together. So, like I said, this was a counterfeit done in the era. This was done to actually be spent at the time, a counterfeit of notes that were in circulation. I got this at a show. I was very impressed by it and had to add it to the collection. So that's what I've got for you guys this week, 10 counterfeit notes. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.